working, man.
I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P, and a lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
All right, so moving right along, we're gonna jump right into it, man, because we got a guest, and I don't want to. Guest very important, and I don't want to keep them waiting. I'll let you do the introduction, but I got to ask you.
Go ahead.
Did you prep this guest?
He's seen the show.
Okay. Because I'm gonna get right to it. I'm gonna go. I got to ask the tough questions.
Yeah.
I'll let you do the intro though.
Okay, so our guest is what I would like to consider a medical expert and a leading medical expert in all things medicine. 25 plus years background as a emergency medical physician, board certified, trains. He owns his own I'll say medical empire. He's an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So he runs his own medical staffing service business. He also does urgent care and telemedicine and online telemedicine services at www.emergetm.com. So that's for all your telemedicine needs.
Okay.
And he is a very new recipient of the Pfizer vaccine.
Okay.
So we can go ahead and welcome in, and full disclosure.
Not yet. No,
okay.
We don't. Yeah, keep that. Yeah, not yet.
Okay, so let's welcome in. Let's just say welcome in Dr. Rich.
Dr. Rich, welcome to the program.
What up? Can
What's
y'all
good?
hear me okay?
Yeah. Loud and clear.
Okay.
And then we do some pause right here. All right, so let's get. He gave us all the background, right? So let's slow walk it. We're gonna slow walk it. Telemedicine. He talked about telemedicine. What exactly is that to the unlearned?
Telemedicine is relatively new aspect of medicine in where you can reach out to a physician, just like we're having this conversation right now. We're not next to each other, but I can see you, you can hear me. We use that same sort of technology to get to patients, make diagnosis, put their prescriptions in, send them to pharmacies close to them. So you're in Maryland, DC area. I'm in Chicago right now. No big deal. I can see you, diagnose you, send prescriptions to your local pharmacy and get you treated. It's more for things that you might necessarily go to an urgent care or maybe go to the emergency department because you got no place else to go and wait for 6 to 7 hours because it's a sore throat and there's other things happening in the emergency department. So it's a option for people who have limited access to healthcare or who just don't feel like leaving the house.
Now, when you say diagnosed, like I'm on the camera and I'm like, man, I got this bulge in my shoulder, and you like would zoom in. You know what I'm saying? How can you give an accurate diagnosis?
No. I'll tell you, open your mouth, put the camera towards your mouth. I can see your tonsils and, I can see your psoriasis from here, man. I got some lotion for you.
Jeez.
I got some lotion for you. You good.
Has there been a scenario where you looking and you just like, I can't quite, I'm gonna have to send you to somebody, refer?
Well, there's been scenarios like that, but there's also been other issues. Like, sometimes people get on with, abdominal pain, and as we're examining them, they're pushing on spots that I'm telling them that I know are key spots, and there's tender there, and I'm like, you gotta go to the ER.
Yeah,
that might be appendicitis.
All right, so let's get to it. You jumped out there and took the vaccine today. What was that process?
I walked out there after careful research.
Okay.
And took the vaccine that I studied. First of all, I studied all 4 of them. From the time that Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson got $1 billion from this United States government to go out into warp speed and to create these vaccines, I started studying and watching them then. Why? I don't trust them like anybody else. Right?
Okay.
So I got to understand exactly what they were doing, how they were doing it. And, I've as a scientist, as a doctor, I have questions. And so I needed to make sure my questions were answered. And so I've been watching along the way. I didn't just start watching them, last week when the FDA said, okay, you're good to go. I didn't start watching them 2 weeks ago when the EU, Europe decided, that they were approving them. I started watching them, when at the break of COVID, when they said we need a vaccine.
So, as somebody with your background who's so credentialed, what were some of the questions that you had?
So my first concern was, how are you going to make this vaccine so quickly? I know what it takes to make vaccines in the past, and it takes quite some time. That was the first question. What technology are they going to use to do this? How is it going to be made safely? What are you going to use inside the vaccine? So those are some key questions, right? Some vaccines have preservatives. Quite a few vaccines have preservatives in them, and you've heard over the several years people adamantly refusing vaccines, and what they're really against is not the immunization process itself. They're against what's in the vaccine. Some vaccines contain mercury. Some vaccines contain other metals. Some vaccines contain, these preservative chemicals. Ironically, you can find a lot of these chemicals in foods and things of that nature, but people are concerned about them. So I wanted to see what was going into the vaccines. How are they going to do that? And how are they going to make this? I wasn't too concerned that they would come up with something, because when you make a think tank that big, you're bound to get solutions, right? Necessity is the mother of invention, right? So when you've got a problem this big and you put the bounty out at $1 billion, per company, somebody's going to come up with some solutions, and they're going to do it, relatively quickly. I wanted to make sure it's going to be safe, effective, and something that I myself would take.
And how did you? So once you went on that journey of question asking, how did you get the answers? Who just personal research?
Medical journals, reading their paperwork, reading their logs, following, their updates. But majority of it was medical journals, published articles about the technique, whatever advancements they had made along the way, whatever complications or side effects they ran into along the way, following those very intensely, and then the process.
So you're saying that Googling everything might not necessarily be the most intelligent way to go about researching vaccines. You might actually want to read the medical journals and have an understanding for medical jargon and such, not just do your Googles and let somebody find until you find the answer that you want to hear.
But this is the nation we live in now.
Yeah.
Right. You live in a Google nation, right?
And that's how most of us get our information.
That's how a lot of us get our information, whether it be wrong or right. I mean, it is what it is, right? Which is why, I'm doing shows like this, while I do radio shows and what have you, because, I take the fact that people trust me very seriously, right? I take that wholeheartedly. And when I give somebody my opinion, I give it to them knowing that I've done the research and I'm looking out for them. Not that I'm trying to, convince somebody to do so. I've never tried to convince you. I'm going to educate you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what, in my expert opinion, I would do in this case. And if you trust me, this is what I'm telling you as a trusted individual. I take that very, very seriously as a physician. So, this was big for me, because I know a lot of people were going to ask me, what are you going to do?
Yeah. And you, I don't know you, and we've never met, but I trust you solely on the fact that you opened up with, I don't trust them.
I don't. Listen, let's keep it 1,000. Can we keep it 1,000 for a second? There's people still who remember Tuskegee, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have patients who what they did back in the day. Yeah. Right. And who have relatives who were in that experiment, right? So it's not that long ago. We know what redlining is. You mentioned, we talked about telemedicine early, right? Well, telemedicine is actually a way for us to defeat medical redlining. And medical redlining is where you just can't get to the hospital because there's not a hospital near you, because your neighborhood isn't affluent enough. I'm sorry, we got to move the hospital 20 miles to the east of you. And you ain't got a bus ticket or a car or a scooter to get there. right? So now you got telemedicine where we can get to your house. So let's keep it a buck. You know, it hasn't always been great to us, which is why, you know, I have to go out and, you know, I have the tools, right? I have the tools, I have the mechanism. So if I got the tools and the mechanism, it's now my responsibility to bring it to the folks to tell them, hey, this is what's going on.
Okay. So back to you did the research and you were confident, more confident. So it's 4 vaccines. You said they each got $1 billion? They each got $1 billion.
They each got $1 billion.
So the question from the peanut gallery here from our chat was asked, we've seen that type of money over the years raised for AIDS and cancer. Why no cure for those diseases specifically?
I think, one, the think tank was not to the degree that it is with this. I mean, you had literally the world on pause, where all of your most talented, most intellectual people were gathered and put in a, you know, the same room, so to speak. I liken it to when they built the atomic bomb. So, you know, they brought the world's finest, the most, you know, touted intellectuals, and they didn't tell them what it was all for at that time, of course, but they put them together and said, we want you to work on this, right? And within, you know, a relatively short time, we had an atomic bomb and nuclear weapons and so forth, right? When you put that kind of effort together to combat something, you're going to come up with results. So it's not the price tag, it's what's the effort.
Okay. Yeah, the atomic bomb, they were trying to figure out time travel, and they settled on the bombs. So that was different shit back then. All right. So back to the vaccine. I'm flushing out every question that I can think of that I've seen, every conspiracy theory. So why is it 4 different ones, and what's in them? So
okay, four different makers, right? You got Pfizer, you got Moderna, you got AstraZeneca, you got Johnson & Johnson.
Okay.
I have publicly gone on record as saying, for what I have studied, Pfizer and Moderna in that order is what I'm comfortable taking.
Okay.
And I will go to AstraZeneca, why not, and Johnson & Johnson, why not, at this point. Pfizer, they've given us the records. They made just about everything public. It's very long. It's very lengthy. If you have the stamina to read 100 pages, go for it. If you read all the records, go for it. But they're very, from what I've seen, they've been very outspoken and upfront, transparent in what they've done. They've used mRNA technology. Now, mRNA, if you think back to high school science, right? You got your DNA, your mRNA, and ribosomes, you know, all that stuff that happens in the cell, right? mRNA is just a portion of DNA, and it translates into the structure of the virus's surface protein. So not the virus itself, just a portion of the virus, that sticks to the nasopharyngeal area so that the virus can get into your system, right? So they found that. They actually decoded that. They decoded that a month after they identified the virus. That's using technology from 10 years ago. So they decoded the virus's DNA. So they had the DNA sequence to the virus. So they took that portion and said, well, let's take just the portion for the surface antigen and let's use that. They took that portion, they wrapped it in, I could use the 90-cent words for it, but basically it's wrapped in cholesterol.
Okay.
They put that in
Phagolaga lipid toilet.
Yeah, they call them nanolipids.
Oh, that was close.
It's basically cholesterol.
Okay, got it.
They wrap it in cholesterol to protect it, right? They put it in sodium chloride, that's salt. Potassium chloride, that's potassium salt. Sucrose, that's sugar, and a little bit of ethanol, which is alcohol. And then they inject it into your arms. That's a margarita with a virus.
That's hilarious. No, that's
it. That's why I say, you know, for me, listen, all I want is
and alcohol. That's hilarious.
I just want the basics.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want the metals. I don't want the other preservatives. Just give me what I need.
Okay.
Right. That we call that a minimum in medicine, minimum effective dose. We just want basically what we need to set the immune response on fire, or to initiate the immune response. Right. Now, what called my attention to it is because you have to store this vaccine at negative 94 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right. Super cold. Right.
That is not cold. That is beyond super cold, right? And I said, well, why would they do that? Well, think about it. You would store something at that temperature to preserve it, right? 5 days after you just unthaw that, it's no good. It's like picking a fruit and then putting that fruit on the table. If it's a natural fruit, no GMOs, no preservatives in it, it's no good. It just denatures, it deprotonates. Same thing with this virus.
Right.
So I said to myself, this is the one you want to take. And selfishly, here comes the selfish part. I'm like, let me get to this virus before they run out. Let me get to this vaccine before they run out of it.
Mm.
And then we get stuck with Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca, which, to be fair, Johnson & Johnson has not released enough information. That's why I can't give my stamp on it.
Okay.
AstraZeneca had some complications in their dosing, not in the patients, but in their dosing, that when I looked at the results, it didn't make sense to me. And I won't go into too much detail, but if it didn't make sense to me, I can't roll with you. Now, Moderna is very similar to Pfizer's technique. So they're very, very close, which is why I say Moderna second.
If you're just tuning into us, we're talking with, we're going live with Dr. Richard out of Chicago, medical professional. Took the vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine today. He's breaking it down, why and how. And we're asking the tough questions, man. It's not going to let off the hook.
I see he's making a mistake. He's reading the comments.
Mr. Clarkson said, so it's wrapped in Old Bay.
No, that's just comedy.
No, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's our executive producer right there. Yeah, I mean, when you went with the sugar, salt, and then the margarita, I'm like, that's a hell of a way to look at it. And that's, hey, so there's no metals in it. You know what's in it, but they are 4 different ones.
Right.
And you do see one being more successful than the rest, in your opinion.
I don't. Well, let's talk about the success, right? I think all of them are going to work.
Okay.
I think
even if they got different shit in them,
even if they have different things in them, right? But remember what I said. We get concerned about what's in it and what else we're taking with it. Right. We get concerned about side effects. I just need the minimum stuff. Just give me the minimum, right? And for me, Pfizer has just that. Just what we need to initiate the immune response. I don't need the extras.
Right.
I don't need the mercury. You keep the mercury.
You keep the mercury. You can
right. I just want the salt, the sugar, and the alcohol.
Just give me the salt, sugar, and the alcohol,
right.
and the mRNA sequence. I'm good.
All right. So and also for the nerds watching, the views expressed by Dr. Richard are Dr. Richards. These are for information purposes only. These ain't stock tips.
Do your own research.
Yeah, please do your own research in journals, not Google.
Right, not Google.
So is the vaccine, is it a cure or is it treatment? Because I keep hearing first round, second round. They're comparing it to the flu shot, which you got to get every year. Is it a cure or is it a treatment?
We don't know if we'll have to take more than 1 or more than 2 doses. And that's just because it's brand new.
Mm-hmm.
It's brand new, right? So that's to be seen. We know that there is an effective immune response after the second dose, to 95% for Moderna and 94% for Pfizer. Now, just understand this. A regular vaccine to be passed through the FDA has to be 50%. So this is far better than what the FDA, qualifications are. Those are really good results.
Did it hurt? Did it sting going in? Did you pass out like the white lady did today?
Come on, man.
Did it travel? Did it feel warm
We're
going
not
through
doing
your
it.
veins like heroin?
Even if it did, I wouldn't show them. No, it was fine. I posted them on Instagram,
Right.
and I posted pictures of my colleagues, my boys, all Black physicians, also taking it. So it's
Okay,
not just me.
you make a point. So earlier this week, and I know it's been mentioned or it's been said,
Mhm.
you know, they always got show the Black people taking it first. They always parading the Black folk out because they want to whatever hype up Black people to take it first. Like we always stepping out there, as the guinea pigs, if you will. So like you're how do you combat that statement? Because what you're essentially doing is from your point of view, you're showing Black people that look, I took it.
Right.
Because I'm a professional and I've researched this, so therefore I'm advising on, folk taking it. But some people take it the opposite way of, they specifically parading the Black people out to take it.
Yeah. Well, nobody made me put that out there. Nobody told me to, hey, go. I didn't get slipped a $5 bill to put it out there. I put it out there again because I know people ask me. They want to know what my feelings are about it. If it's safe and if I'm going to take it. I get that question. We do COVID screenings around the country, from New York to California, from Chicago down to Mississippi, online, telemedicine. And people ask me that question all day, every day. Are you going to take it? Is it safe? What do you know about it? And I tell people the same thing. I say, I will research it and I will tell you exactly how I feel about it. I'll tell you, if something's going to be good and if it's not going to be good. And up to probably a month ago, my answer to that had always been, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I might have to wait and see. I don't have all the information I need yet. When I got a hold of the ingredients, that's when I said, yeah, okay, it's that time.
All right, I pulled it up. We're gonna let's take a look at this real quick. This is you today taking the vaccine.
That's actually yesterday. That's last
yeah.
night at 7 p.m.
Not at all.
Dr. Hasselballah posted his on his YouTube page.
I gotta post it now. Simple and easy, all done.
Oh, did it hurt?
Not at all.
Dr. Hasselballah posted.
That's pretty official.
I gotta post it now.
And we're the one where the homeboys we'll see that later.
Same one. You can flip through those and you can see.
Yeah, the same post. Just move on to the next one.
Oh yeah. My bad.
Simple and
okay.
easy.
Okay. We got new features on our on this little platform here, so I'm excited. All right, that's your man's right there, Ruben Stutter, getting this situation. Okay, my guy. All right. Okay, T.O. getting it done. All right. All right. Well, there's that. All right. Take it back to where we was. Oh,
there we go.
Now, oh, that's what's up. All right.
Yeah, so you got new features over there, fam.
Yeah, new all type of production. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, your donations are not going to waste. This is paying for a feature. All right, now let me ask the conspiratorial questions because these are the questions that,
of course, they're coming. They're coming.
Yeah, is the mRNA is that changing your DNA? Are you becoming something else? Is the vaccine changing you?
That's a good question. That's a good question because once you start talking about DNA, right? People talk about the genes and things of that. Go back to high school science again. mRNA, when mRNA leaves the nucleus, mRNA goes into the cytoplasm and gets read by ribosomes and produces proteins. That's what mRNA does. It's the messenger. It's taking the message to the ribosome. The ribosome reads it and go, okay, this is what we're supposed to produce, right? So it's not changing the DNA structure. It's not even getting into your DNA structure. It's just being picked up in the cell, and the ribosomes will read it and say, produce this. So there's nothing that's going into your DNA, nothing that's going to change your structure. What happens once it's read is it then produces that little bit of the virus, those surface proteins, and then the cell releases those. When the cell releases those, that's when the immune system goes to work. Your B cells, your T cells, your antibodies start the production. So the next time it encounters that surface protein, when somebody with COVID actually comes and sneezes on you or coughs on you or shakes your hand and introduces you to it, your body already has its soldiers ready. right? Your army and your Marines are ready to go to attack that virus the moment it's introduced to your body again, and that's what keeps you safe.
All right. So to that point though, all right, if half the people take it, but the other half have antibodies and are completely free of it, then everybody don't need to take it then, right? Because if half the people take it, it's gone.
Well, we need more than half the people for herd immunity, right?
Okay.
So I don't know if you've heard, but there is definitely a phenomenon where people can get it twice. Now, from my experience, my anecdotal experience, we don't have all the research on it yet. Those who have seen get it twice, the second time they get it, it's not as bad, which is good. That means your body has some immune recollection of it, even though when I tested those people, they don't have antibodies, right? So they got exposed the first time. You're supposed to build antibodies, but those antibodies faded away. And then they got it again because they didn't have enough antibodies. But they didn't have it as long as the first time, right? Which tells me that there is some immunity still responding. So you can absolutely get it twice. So even those who've been exposed to it, you can still get it, and you can certainly transfer the virus from one person to another and not get sick. In other words, you can hold the virus in your nose and then give it to somebody else. With this vaccine, what we're trying to build is an immune system strong enough that even if it gets in your nose, it gets killed within your nose.
Okay.
Okay. So if you get to a population that has about 70% immunity through the vaccine, the virus simply has no place to replicate.
Right.
It just can't replicate, and it'll die.
2 questions from the peanut gallery. Will you have to take it yearly? And here's a tough one in your pockets. Since doctors a lot of time get bonus checks from pharmaceutical companies, did that influence your decision?
No, I don't get any bonus check. Let me answer the first question first, because that's more relevant. Do we have to take it every year? Honestly, we don't know. What we know from research right now is that people who are 6 months out are still immune to the virus. You won't think back to when you were a baby, but you got a measles vaccine 3 times, right? And that's enough to build your immunity throughout your lifetime, at least hopefully. I haven't taken a measles booster.
Right.
My titers are still good. My titers meaning their immune system is still good, and I'm 40+ years old at this point. And so, we don't know exactly how many times you have to take, but we'll be looking at that ongoing. Now, the other part, does Pfizer drop a check on me? Pfizer does not drop a check on me, and they won't be dropping a check on me for standing here talking about. Neither will Moderna, neither will Johnson & Johnson, neither will Janssen, and quite frankly, I don't need your check.
Is
right? I'm about to say real quick. Just quickly tell them who signed your check.
Do it again one time.
I sign my checks.
Exactly.
Look, if John didn't give you the rundown, I sign my checks.
Right.
Are masks really helping?
Depending on the mask you're wearing.
Because I see people, and the reason, and I thought this was a good question. It was worth repeating because I see people outside by themselves with the mask on. What is that actually helping? Like that's when no one around.
That's probably just habit.
Okay. And in the car with the windows up, driving.
That's hilarious. I do that myself because.
Oh, geez.
No, that's fun. It's not on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a mask for 12 hours a day. It's just.
Okay.
Right. Like if I'm in the store and then I walk out and I get in the car, like sometimes you're so used to it, you just be in the car because you just had it on. You don't think to take it off, and I'm just, in the car by myself with the mask on. I'm so used to it.
I saw a meme where it was like the dude came out the store and he said he ripped the joint off like he just did a surgery on his anatomy. That's me though. Like so, that was tough. I don't do the outside thing. It's just I'm not an anti-masker. I just feel like that's a little. It's just too much. All right. Last 2 questions. 5G and zombie apocalypse. Is there anything that this vaccine is going to usher in that we need to be worried about?
Hopefully it'll usher in immunity towards corona, and we'd be, back to the barbecue within a summer or two. That's really what we want to do. But I do think what Pfizer and Moderna has done is going to change the way vaccines are made. I think the use of mRNA for vaccine production, I think they've set a new standard, and they're probably going to have to, the competitors are going to try to have to beat that standard. And again, mRNA use is not brand new. They've been using that in cancer treatment for the past 10 years with a pretty good amount of success in particular cancers. So they just took something, they was like, oh, that take that off that shelf. Let me see if that'll work over here. And that works. And so they've done in my opinion, they've done a good job with that.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. We'll leave on that note. Dr. Richard Watson from Emerge Telehealth. What's the website?
It's www.emergetelemedicine.com, or Emerge TM for short. TM, capital T, capital M, as in telemedicine for short. And that's the telehealth site. Go ahead and check that out for all your needs, wherever you may be. We're happy to help you make decisions as well.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for being so candid and taking some time out of your day. I know you're a busy individual, and being upfront with it and giving us peace, man. I appreciate it. We'll have you back.
Listen, anything for my little brother.
Oh, this
hey, all right now. Y'all ain't hear that Dr. Watson in the last name? I'm over here crying real tears, man. That's my brother over there, family. See, y'all was making all y'all little funky comments.
Look, I see your face too, and I was like, just calm down, John. Just calm down, because I held on to it because black people petty, man. They get to they wouldn't even been paying attention. They'd have been distracted. They'd be like, well, who's older? And staring at y'all faces and shit. Like, I wanted credibility to be on 1,000 before we reveal that's Big Bro. So that's what's up, man.
Right.
I appreciate it.
All right, bro.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. There it is. Well, that's what's up, man. That may have See, look,
so here's the thing. So he put it out there just to the family. He was like, yo, I got this. I went and got the shot. I was like, oh, close. Last night I was like, son, hey, how your face feel? Is your face feeling limp? Or are you feeling, like, nah, man, again, he broke it down to me much like any other time I have a medical question in similar fashion to how he just broke it down with the, the components of the vaccine. And I was like, oh, damn, that sounds like that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And like, again, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, nor was I jumping in the front of the line to get it. But
that's my point.
If it's presented to me,
make it make sense.
Make it make sense. I'm like, okay, like if it comes around, I'm like, okay, I might be all right with that.
When you put it into the metaphorical juxtaposition of a cocktail beverage that I can understand, I'm like, oh, that's what it is. When's happy
margaritas?
Yeah, I like margaritas. When's happy hour? I'm with it.
Right.
Oh man, that was perfection right there. That's what's up.
If y'all don't share that, y'all ain't.
Oh yeah, the replay value of this is gonna be through the roof.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad efficient.